Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I made my position very well known regarding the mass democracy in the United States of America. And if this senator of South Carolina, Lindsey Graham, is the product of that kind of democracy, then that needs to be changed, tweaked. A lot of tweaking here in the democracy department. Because if you allow this kind of, I think, criminal mind to be a US senator, and this kind of person should be the furthest away from power. I have here a video from CNN. I'm going to play 3 minutes and 11 seconds, where Lindsey Graham is asked some questions and regarding how many civilians would be acceptable before civilians to be killed would be acceptable for the United States to stop Israel from committing. And he says there's no limit. And he is going to argue in such a unsincere and illogical way. He's going to use in his answers pathos, not logos. So he's going to argue without answering the question from a faulty foundation. So he starts from the very beginning answering from a wrong point of view, and he uses that as, see, we did it, we committed a crime, so these guys can commit a crime too. Totally irresponsible. I'm very irritated with this guy. But anyway, let me just show you the article and then discuss. This comes from Business Insider. You can find it in many other places. Lindsey Graham says there is no limit, quote unquote, to the number of civilians justifiable for Israel to kill in its war on Hamas. This guy. Remember, I made a video on this idiot a while ago, showing you how many people actually voted for this guy. All right, and I'm going to show you how many people voted for this imbecile. So this is an article from November 3rd, 2020, and he won the elections, Lindsey Graham, and this is the total number who voted for this imbecile. So he got voted in the office by 1,369,137 people. So he's endorsed by 1,000,035 or 37, let's put it. That's all. That's it. 1,000,000.3, and he is a US senator. So let's go back to the article and let's play this little thing right here. This is the video. And I'm going to let it play until it gets to minute, I think it's 3:11. And she's going to ask him some logical questions, and he's going to go to tell us about Japan and the United States dropping the bomb, justifying that as being okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. You can't commit a war crime and mass destruction of people, civilians, and say that was okay. But he's going to use that argument which is already dead. So let's go and hear this imbecile.
First of all, on this IDF strike that unfolded today at the Gaza refugee camp, the Israelis say that it killed a top Hamas general. Have you received any intelligence briefings to suggest that actually was the case, that they were able to take out that general?
No, I haven't. And, the loss of life is tragic. A lot of innocent Palestinians are being killed. And the main reason is that Hamas uses their own people as human shields. So if you're Israel...
If that is true, you still cannot do that. Imagine that your family is taken hostage in a bank by a criminal. They will not blow up the entire bank to kill the criminal and your family. Understand the logic? So he says, yeah, everything is tragic, but I don't care how many die. Okay? So that argument with human shields is already gone. But he's going to use it.
You're in a dilemma here, because to go after their leaders you're probably going to have to hurt some innocent people. But that's
Did you hear? To go after the leaders, you have to hurt some innocent people. What if it's his family? Would he talk the same way? No. And how many innocent people? He will say, no limit.
nature of this war, I'm afraid.
I think that that's obviously the big dilemma that Israel faces, that the whole world is really grappling with. What I just want to understand, though, is if this were the United States of America and there was a target that was in a densely populated civilian area, would the United States have taken a strike like that?
He's going to use the Second World War. He's going to use the atomic bomb, which was a war crime, I would say, killing about almost 200,000 people in 2 strikes, civilians. That's a war crime, however we want to take it. He's going to say, well, we got the Japanese to come to the terms by killing their civilians. He's going to argue that, and arguing that, he's going to argue anyone would do it. Israel is entitled to do the same crime, commit the same crime.
Against a refugee camp?
I think a better analogy, what would the United States do to knock Japan out of the war? You got to understand, this is not normal stuff in the...
Are we still going by the international law, by the laws of war, Geneva Convention, or we don't? Are we or we not? You can't just pick and choose.
Hamas wants to kill all the Jews. It's not about the Palestinians. They're not trying to help the Palestinian people. They're trying to destroy Israel. So when we were attacked by Japan, we declared war on Germany. And how did we end the war? We dropped a bomb on several cities in Japan, breaking the will of the Japanese people. If you had asked the average American, what's the proportional response after Pearl Harbor, they would say the only response is victory.
All right. So that means if the Russians demand Putin to drop atomic bombs, nuclear weapons on, let's say, United States of America to end the war in Ukraine, is that justifiable? Remember, people can demand that, but we have laws. So it doesn't matter how many people demanded that to drop the atomic, and nobody was asked, by the way, about the atomic bombs. All right. Not even Harry Truman. When Harry Truman got in the office because the other guy was, four-time elected president, Roosevelt, when he got in the office, he was unaware of the Manhattan Project, if I remember correctly. He did not know these guys have the atomic bomb. Even the vice president, if I remember correctly. All right. So when he was informed, he was the one who made the decision. So not the American people. And then the American people says, yeah, we won the war, and they gave them the justification. So this guy says, well, everybody wants it. Well, that means it's a lynch mob. If a mob wants to lynch someone, and because the mob wants that, are you okay with that? He is okay with that. Why? Because everybody wanted. Regardless if it was good or bad, the people wanted it. Even if it was against the international law or against the rule of law, the rule of war, the laws of war. You can argue, well, those things were a little bit late and this and that. Well, you still know when you kill civilians is not a okay thing, because if it's okay thing for you to do that, then it's okay for your enemy to do the same thing. Then what do you have in Nuremberg trials then? Crimes about humanity? They did something to win the war. So if you justify your garbage, then why don't you accept the other guys to justify the same garbage as you do? Oh, you know why? Because they lost. Now, is that how justice is dispensed? By this idiot? Yes. He didn't answer.
I see why a lot of people, especially all these decades after that, would say we have other options here. I mean, this is not a time where our only weapons are dropping nuclear bombs. There's precision weaponry, there's intelligence. We have so much more information.
I don't know why.
So I guess what I'm wondering is, in 2023, when militaries as advanced as Israel's and as the United States have choices, is it acceptable to drop bombs on a densely populated civilian area where there are refugees, where people are living, where there are children?
Well, in 2023...
He's going to argue using pathos, not logos. He's going to say, well, the other guys were killed, therefore we can kill even more than they killed. Basically his argument. And we're supposed to say, oh yeah, that's good. He argues at the level of below 50 IQ.
Imagine that someone who survived the Holocaust in World War II would be killed by Islamic terrorists in Israel later in life. In 2023, could anybody imagine a group of people would come into Israel and slaughter families, rape children in front of the parents, burn babies alive, put a baby in the oven? Can you imagine that? I can't imagine that. Here's what I imagine.
No answer. No answer. He just used, well, those guys are criminals, therefore we're going to be bigger criminals. That's his argument. Or Israelis will be bigger criminals because those guys were the criminals. Is that how it works? Then put all this argumentation, put it in the arsenal of Putin and see if this idiot will agree with that. Just use it that way. Let's say Putin would say, well, the Ukrainians were killing the Russians in Donbass and Lugansk and whatever. Therefore, we have to intervene and we're going to drop a few atomic bombs to destroy everything over there. Because they were killing our people over there. They were shelling it. Well, I think that's our threshold for dropping an atomic bomb. We don't have to meet your threshold. We're going to have our threshold. As you did not meet our threshold in the Second World War. Anyway.
Destruction of Hamas is non-negotiable. I hate the loss of innocent lives. The day after Hamas is destroyed, I hope we have a better life for the Palestinian people. But I'm not blaming Israel. I'm blaming Hamas. I'm not blaming Israel at all. I know they're trying to limit civilian casualties, and I know Hamas is trying to increase civilian casualties.
Is there a threshold for you, and do you think there should be one for the United States government, at which the U.S. would say, let's hold off for a second in terms of civilian casualties? Is there a point at which you would start to question?
If somebody asked us after World War II, is there a limit what you would do to make sure that Japan and Germany don't conquer the world? Is there any limit what Israel should do to the people who are trying to slaughter the Jews? The answer is no. There is no limit, but here's what you need to do.
All right, my friends, there is no limit. There is no limit. That guy is a U.S. senator, or in the United States of America's Senate, out of 100 idiots. He's over there. Now, this guy is on the payroll of someone, because I don't think he's so much in love with some groups somewhere. I don't think he gives a rat's ass about that one. I think he is under some interest, and he knows that if he doesn't bark the way he's supposed to, he's just going to be going bye-bye, and he has to start working somewhere. Because as a senator, that's not what he's doing. His staff is working for him. Anyway, my friends, this is a clear example of democracy. Democracy gave us that guy, Lindsay. And not only, they gave us many like him and wars. But this guy, remember, this is not his first offense. He said on 2 or 3 occasions that let's take Putin out, let's assassinate Putin. The guy that was voted in the office by 1,370,000. All right, that guy. My friends. And he also said that Iran, we're coming for you. That guy. He's got 1 million behind him that supported him in 2020 or whenever the elections were. 1 million. And he says he threatens Iran, 80-some million people. Or Russia, 145 million people with nuclear weapons. This guy? All right, my friends, I think I made my point, and this is democracy. I disagree with the way democracy is run in the United States of America. This is not democracy. It's a mockery. It's a mockery. It's a club. It's a system that it's them against us. But we don't know that. Most of them don't know that. We know that. And I explained on many occasions how this works between the big financial interests who obviously have the military-industrial complex and the intelligence community with the guns. They take care of stuff as a buffer. And then you have the politicians who are picked and then thrown in front of us to vote for them after media propagandized us with the finance from the same interests that picked the politicians and owned the media and got the guys in front of us, and we vote. Whomever we vote for, 1 or 2, because we like diversity, but only in 2 terms, 1 or 2. We don't like a diversity like 15 candidates. No. They are over there, but it's a process, right? And then we vote, and then we're happy and we hate one another because you voted for that guy. They are the same because the sponsors, the parents are the same. They are just two identical twins put in front of us to vote for, one at a mustache or a goatee and the other one without one. They have the same parents who feed them money and power. And they can be removed just like this by the same interest. So my friends, this guy has a criminal mind. You can't commit a crime and say you're not a criminal. You can't commit a crime. And you can't defend, oh, I had to do that. I had to rape that thing because they raped that. If you condemn that, then how are you the good guy if you do the same thing? I mean, this is basic, basic law, basic justice, basic logic, basic human, intelligence, reason. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.